think we're good to go now, Mayor.
All right. Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, councillors and officers and anyone viewing our meeting. I welcome you to the ordinary meeting of the Council of the Wellington Shire Council, held today on Tuesday, the 1st of December 2020. And as required, before we start, considering we are holding this meeting via Skype, we need to complete the councillor roll call. So I will start on my screen to my left, and could all councillors just confirm that they can see and hear me? Councillor Crosley.
Yes, Mayor, I can see and hear you.
Councillor Wood.
Yes, Mayor, I can see and hear you.
Councillor Hull.
Yes, Mayor, I can see and hear you.
Councillor Marr.
I can see and hear you, Mayor.
Councillor Boy.
Yes, Mayor, I can see and hear you.
Councillor Tatterson.
Yes, Mayor, I can see and hear you.
Councillor Mackenzie.
Yes, Mayor, I can see and hear you.
And Councillor Rossetti.
Yes, Mayor, I can hear and see you.
Thank you, and I think that I can hear and see you all, and I think that's I've covered everyone. I haven't missed anyone, have I? No. Thank you very much. Now we are required to read the council meeting information to you. As the COVID-19 physical distancing requirements continue to remain in place, the Minister's Good Practice Guideline MGPG-1 virtual meetings issued by the Minister for Local Government continue to apply. Pursuant to Section 87 of the Local Government Act 2020, these guidelines ensure that local government decision-making can continue in line with COVID-19 requirements, and further details can be found on the Local Government Victoria website. These guidelines took effect from the 1st of May 2020 and will remain in place through to the 26th of April 2021. While members of the public can no longer attend meetings in person, we have provided options for you to interact with us virtually via our council meetings page on the Wellington Shire Council website. You are able to interact with council in two ways. Email through a specific question or comment relating to a particular council agenda item no later than 1 p.m. on the day of the council meeting, or for general communication with council via the online web form early in the meeting to ensure that your submissions can be dealt with at the end of the meeting. While we maintain a different way of gathering, we thank you for your ongoing support and look forward to continuing this new way of keeping in touch with all of Wellington Shire. And next we have the Acknowledgement of Country and the prayer. We acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Gunai people, and pay respects to their elders, past and present. And the prayer. Almighty God, we ask your blessing upon the Wellington Shire Council, its councillors, officers, staff and their families. We pray for your guidance in our decisions so that the true good of the Wellington Shire Council may result to the benefit of all residents and community groups. Amen. Okay, the next item is apologies, and I don't believe we have any apologies. Everyone is present. So move on to declaration of conflicts of interest. Are there any declarations of conflict of interest? No, thank you very much. Next item is the confirmation of minutes of the previous council meeting. So if someone to move.
Thanks, Mayor. Council Boy would like to move that.
Thank you very much. And I have a seconder.
Councillor
Can I read it out? Can I read it out first?
Oh, sorry. Yes, please do.
I move that council adopt the minutes then of the unscheduled council meeting of the 12th. Hold on, that's incorrect.
No, it's two.
No, there are two meetings there.
There's two, Councillor Boy.
Oh, there's two there, is there? So I'll start that again. I move that council adopt the minutes of the unscheduled council meeting of the 12th of November 2020 and the ordinary council meeting of the 17th of November 2020.
Thank you, Councillor Boy. Now I'll ask for a seconder.
Yeah, Councillor Crossley will second that.
Thank you, Councillor Crosley. Is there any discussion? All in, I'll declare the meeting. I'll declare the motion carried. Thank you very much. Do you wish to say anything, Councillor Boy?
No, Mayor.
Okay. All right. think I still got my training wheels on. Next item on the agenda, the business arising from previous meetings. I don't believe we have anything, Mr. CEO.
None, Mayor.
And the next item, acceptance of late and urgent items. I don't believe there's not any of those.
No, none received, Mayor.
Okay, notices of motion. I know that there's no notices of motion. That's correct, isn't it?
That's correct, Mayor.
Yep. Next item, item 7, is the receiving of petitions or joint letters. There are 2 outstanding petitions that were received at the last meeting, and they're still under the normal council practice, waiting to be have a report back to council.
That's right, Mayor. They'll come through on the next meeting, Mayor, on the 15th of December.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. CEO. The next item is invited addresses, presentations, or acknowledgements. Look, I'll just start off. It's very exciting to note that the Art Gallery of New South Wales is going to send the Archibald Prize for 2021 to the Gippsland Art Gallery. And this will be really fantastic because it will be the only regional venue in Victoria where the Archibald Prize will be on display. It's a fantastic outcome for our community and our shire, and even, and dare I say it, the whole of Gippsland. I'd like to congratulate the staff through you, Mr. CEO, and particularly the Gallery Director, Simon Grigg, and his staff for the work that's been put into obtaining this Archibald Prize over, I think, 3 or 4 years. It's a testament to the great outcomes from the redevelopment of the Port of Sale and our new Gippsland Art Gallery that we're going to have this great exhibition. Just to put that in some sort of context, it will be not only a great benefit to all art lovers, but from an economic point of view, it's going to fit in extremely well with our new marketing campaign, The Middle of Everywhere. Will be a boost to accommodation places, food places, general retail, all businesses, and will help to showcase the whole of the Wellington Shire, as well as highlighting or showcasing the Port of Sale. I think just a couple of other quick points. It's really great that 2021 will be the centenary of the Archibald Prize, and so we understand that it will be bigger and better than ever before. Previously, when the Archibald Prize has come to regional Victoria, it's attracted an average of 61,000 visitors. And I think whilst we're budgeting not to have quite as many as that, it's going to be a huge show, and we would hope that we will get a considerable number of visitors, given the fact that would average out at about 1,200 visitors a day if we had 61,000, gives you a bit of an understanding of just what impact it will have. And when the Archibald Prize visited Ballarat, it had an economic impact of $11.6 million, and people travelled from all over Victoria and in fact interstate. So that's great work that we're getting this prize. It's going to be a fantastic outcome for our community, and I look forward to seeing the Archibald Prize here in 2021. So well done to all, well done to everyone that was involved. Now, Councillor Maher, I think you would like to make a comment. Is that right? Yes.
I would, Mayor. Thank you.
Your comment was in relation to questions on notice, wasn't it?
No, I did have an acknowledgement for
right.
Josette Nunn.
Oh, of course. That's right.
Yes.
Don't worry. I know what's going on. Yes. Thank you, Councillor Maher.
So I just wanted to acknowledge the achievement of Josette Nunn, also known as Jo to many. She works at the Yarram Early Learning Centre, and she's been announced as the winner in the Victorian Early Years Awards for an outstanding contribution in creating positive outcomes for children and families in the Yarram area. So well done to her. These awards showcase and celebrate the outstanding achievement of individuals and organisations in the early childhood sector, and acknowledges the important work that's been done to provide Victorian children a high quality start to life. Of the winners, the winners were selected from 115 nominations that were received across 7 categories for 2020. And each winner receives a grant of up to $15,000 for professional development or to support their nominated initiative. So well done to Joe, and it's a great achievement in that space. Thank you.
Yes, here. Thank you, Councillor Marr. Great effort. Now we'll move on to questions on notice. And I believe you may have had a question on notice, Councillor Marr.
I do have a question on notice. Thank you, Mayor. My question on notice is, what is the present status with the warmer pool for Yarram? Where is it at? And some information for the community would be great.
Okay.
Mayor, I'm happy to just very quickly respond. Certainly we'll provide a detailed response to Councillor Marr's question at the next council meeting on the 15th, but I can say off the top of my head that it's definitely a project that's going ahead. It's on schedule, but we'll provide all those details in the next agenda on the 15th of December, Mayor.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. CEO. Thank you, Councillor Marr. Well, are there any other questions on notice? I don't believe so. No? Yes. Moving on to the next item on the agenda, report of delegates. Councillors, has any councillor got a report of delegates they'd like to raise?
I have a delegates report, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Marr.
Thank you. On the 18th of November, I attended a presentation regarding the container deposit scheme that was presented by Carl Shanley, a Senior Program Manager of the CDS scheme for DELP, and it was hosted by Nick Nagel of the Goulburn Valley Waste and Resource Recovery Group. Basically, in February of 2020, the Premier announced a rollout of the 4-bin curbside recycling scheme across next year, but also the introduction of a container deposit scheme, also known as the CDS, by 2023. The aim is to reduce waste to landfill overall by 80% by 2030. DELP has been undertaking consultations for CDS with stakeholders and community, and the objectives are to strive for circularity of beverage containers, meaning that they are repeatedly recycled, to enable a product stewardship model that will foster a shared responsibility between producers, retailers and the consumer, and to deliver a best practice approach being convenient and easy to use for all the Victorians. Local government considerations are how management of the CDS will be undertaken. There will be no obligation for councils to manage or operate a CDS collection point at this stage. However, community groups, charities and sports clubs could be hosts for collection points, thus creating jobs, or alternatively, small business could undertake this. Credits could also be sent to local groups. Getting the details right and how the scheme will look, including legislation, forms part of the stage 1 approach. This involves looking at other models within Australia and overseas. New South Wales and Queensland redemption rates are currently between 60 to 70%, whereas Europe and North America, they're 92 to 97%. However, it's important to note that it's mandatory for retailers to provide collection points and refunds. Stage 2 will see appointments of an entity to oversee the operation of the scheme, and the timeline for this is proposed of 2021-2022. Stage 3 will involve establishment of the infrastructure, community education and so forth, and that's proposed to be completed by 2022-2023. Currently, there were surveys and submissions on Engage Vic, and these closed yesterday on the 30th of November. So that information of submissions and survey inputs will be looked at and will certainly form part of the detail that will come out of the stage 1 process. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Marr. We'll look forward to more information on that in due course. Now, the next item on the agenda is the Chief Executive Officer's Report, item 11.1, Municipal Emergency Management Planning Committee. There's a motion proposal there. Have we got a mover for that?
Councillor Crossley is happy to move.
Thank you, Councillor Crossley. I'll let you,
Thank you.
move that. Yes, please go ahead.
I move that Council authorise the establishment of the existing Wellington Municipal Emergency Management Planning Committee, the MEMC, established under the S21 bracket 3 to bracket 5 of the Emergency Management Act 1986, in recognition that on the 1st of December 2020, these provisions are replaced by the S82 bracket 2 of the Emergency Management Legislation Amendment Act 2018, the EMLA Act, and replaced by the provisions of S68 of the EMLA Act. 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to facilitate the establishment of a new MEMC in accordance with the provisions of the S68 of the EMLA Act, which inserts a new part. Sorry about that. Part 6 Municipal Emergency Management Planning Committees into the Emergency Management Act 2013 on the 1st of December 2020. And 3, notes that under the MEMC terms of reference, the EMLA Act, which inserts S59 and F59F into the Emergency Management Act 2013 on the 1st of December 2020. Council's role is to establish the committee. Once established, the committee exists separately to Council and is not a committee of Council. It is accountable and reports to the Gippsland Regional Emergency Management Planning Committee, REMC. And 4, note that under the EMLA Act, that the Chief Executive Officer nominates Sharon Houlihan, General Manager, Community and Culture, as the chairperson of the new MEMC from the 1st of December 2020.
Thank you, Councillor. Have we got a seconder for that motion?
Happy to second, Mayor.
Thank you. Is there any opposition to that proposal? No? I'll declare it carried and ask you, Councillor Crossley, would you like to comment?
Thank you. This is a lot of words there, but really it comes down to point 3, that the MEMCs used to be a council committee and the emergency management plans used to be a council plan. This really didn't reflect what was happening on the ground, and certainly councils put in a submission to say that these should be multi-agency plans, and that's what this change is implementing. When we talk multi-agencies, we're talking VicPol, we're talking CFA, we're talking SES, DELP, parks, local hospital agencies, very broad rent. I think there's about 20 or 30 people around the table at these meetings. And so and a lot of the areas council wasn't responsible for, so it's much more in line with how they have been operating. So this is just realigning the action on the ground in a legislative way so that council doesn't hold the responsibility of these plans. But we will be working closely with the new MEMC into the future, as we have done in the past. And unfortunately, we've had a lot of practice with this in Wellington in the various emergencies that we've had over the years. But so this is just a legislative change in who we report to. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Crossley. Move on to the next item is C12.1. is from the General Manager of Corporate Service, Assembly of Councillors.
Happy to move that, Mayor. Councillor Bye.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bye. Do I have a seconder?
Can I read out first, Mayor?
Oh, sorry. Another fail, another dollar in the tin. Yes, Councillor Bye. Sorry, go for it.
I'd like to move that Council note and receive the attached Assembly of Council records for the period 9th of November 2020 to the 22nd of November 2020.
And I'm happy to second that.
Thank you, Councillor Marr. Is there any opposition to that recommendation? No. I declare it carried. Councillor Bye, would you like to say?
No, happy with that, Mayor.
Thank you very much. So the next, moving on to the next item, C12.2, is consideration of the annual report 2019-20. Would someone like to move that?
Yeah, I'll move that, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hull.
Happy to second that, Mayor. Councillor Bye.
Okay.
I'm going to move that Council consider, discuss and receive the annual report of 2019/20 in accordance with the transitional requirements of the Local Government Act of 1989 and the new Local Government Act of 2020.
Good. Thank you, Councillor Hull. We've got Councillor Bye seconded that. Is there any opposition to that recommendation? No. I'll declare it carried. Would you like to speak, Councillor Hull? I'll let you give a page-by-page summary of the report, if you like.
That'll put me into long service leave if I did that. Mr. Mayor, yeah, thank you for pointing out the detail and the length of the document. It is certainly one that's full of facts and figures and general information for our community to absorb. One of the comments I'd like to make is not quite often, now and again we ask, what do I get for my rates? And I'd suggest to those people that here's your opportunity to sit down and have a read as to where your rate money goes and what it's delivered for. And after you finish reading the 259 pages or whatever it is, maybe you can give us a ring and say how come you can do it so cheaply, because the amount of services and facilities that we provide for a big range of people and communities is superb. We have, if I can just quote a few statistics that are there. I'm not going to go right through the document, but we cater for just on 44,500 people, and we're a shire or a council of on 11,000 square kilometres, which is, to put it into perspective, bigger than Lebanon, and that's the area that we have to cater for. Our average age is 43, which is slightly higher than the state average. We, in our document, where you'll see that we pick up around about 1.5 million curbside garbage collections over 12 months. We, in this past year, in the current report, we sealed 700,000 square metres of local roads. We had 186,000 people attend our pools. We had 169,000 visit our library. We even had 18,800 people learn to swim. And on our rural areas, we had 9,500 kilometres of roadsides were slashed. And on top of that, we had our sporting grounds and halls that had to be maintained, and there's well over 100 of those. But it's interesting to see the occupations that give us the strength as a council, and keep us an industrial as well as a residential and social area. That 13% of our people are employed in healthcare and social assistance. 13%, another 13% are in agriculture, forestry and fishing. 10% are in the retail trade. We have 9% of our population in construction, and we have 8% in educational training. Our report also details some of the challenges that we've had in the past 12 months, and I refer to the things that are freshly in our mind, and that's the drought, fires and COVID-19, which we're still coming to grips with. And the report lists the challenges that on the surface that we face for the future. And one is supporting our local businesses during COVID-19 to ensure that they recover and come back and provide the services and facilities that we want in our shire. We're supporting the re-energising of our community groups, because a lot of the groups couldn't meet, whether they were sports clubs or various committees that are so full of volunteers who make our place wonderful to live, work and play. And on top of that, we're supporting the sustainability of our sporting clubs and the associations that go with them. So it's a great report. It's in a lot of detail, and I commend anybody who wishes to read it and not too familiar with some of the work. Feel free to contact us. We're only too happy to bring you up to speed with what's written there. And I'd also like, on behalf of the council, to commend our officers and staff for their dedication to our community and beyond. We're a fortunate organisation that is totally professional, and that is my report on our annual report.
Yep. Thank you very much, Councillor Holt. And yes, I would join you there. If anyone wants to get a picture of just what the Wellington Shire does, then it's worthwhile reading. It may be a bit dry reading, but it's worthwhile reading to see what actually goes on. And I support your comments that, thank you to the staff, thank you to Mr. CEO and staff for the work they've done, because that just preparation of that document alone, it's a big task. And I understand it can be viewed, I think, in council libraries. I know it's certainly available here in the Sally Street office, and certainly at the Yarram Hub if anyone wanted to just sit down and have a look. So thank you for that. Moving on to the next item is item C 12.3 is adoption of the council meeting dates for 2021. Do I have someone that would like to move that?
Thanks, Mayor. Councillor Bye, I'd like to move that.
Thank you very much.
And I'll second, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Wood.
Thank you.
I'll move that Council number 1 adopt the 2021 council meeting dates and times as attached, and item 2, publish the 2021 council meeting dates and times on council website.
Thank you very much. Is there any opposition to that recommendation? If not, I'll declare it carried. Councillor Bye, would you like to say anything?
Yes, thanks, Mayor. It's just nice to put out there for the next 12 months what council are actually doing with their meeting times. We don't actually meet in the month of January. That's our little hiatus for the holidays like everyone else. But the general public and I suppose the world can know, because you can dial in and watch a council meeting like people are doing at the moment. But for everyone's notice, we meet on the first and third Tuesdays. The first Tuesday is a 3 o'clock council meeting, and the second meeting is a 6 o'clock council meeting. So anyone can dial in, they can watch the meetings live, and it's a great format. Thanks, Mayor.
Yeah, and thank you very much, Councillor Bye. And I just, the only thing I'd like to add is that we are hopeful that by the time we get to the first meeting in February, that we may be able to meet face to face again. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. So thank you. Now the next item on the agenda, C 12.4, the appointment of committees and delegates for 2020-2021. Well, do I have someone that'd like to move that? Councillor,
I'd like to move that.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Crosley. Do you want to move?
Yes, I move.
Yes.
Mayor, I move that councillors be formally appointed to council committees in accordance with the updated register as attached.
And do I have a seconder?
I'll second, Councillor Wood.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor. Is there any opposition to the appointment of committees and delegates? If not, I'll declare that motion carried. Councillor Crosley.
Thank you, Mayor. This is, as you say in the attachment, there's a range of committees that councillors are involved with, both internally for the management and the processes within council, but there's also external bodies that we send delegates to both support the agencies, but to make sure that the wishes and concerns of our community are registered and taken into account in these committees. So thank you very much. It's a broad range, as you can see, but we keep us busy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor. The move on to the General Manager of Development. Item 13.1 is the quarterly building reports for July to September. Do I have someone who'd like to move?
I'm happy to move that, Mayor.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Marr.
I move that Council note the report of building permits issued from the 1st of July 2020 to the 30th of September 2020.
Happy to move that, to second that, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bye. Is there any opposition to that recommendation? No, I'll declare it carried. Councillor Marr.
Thank you, Mayor. This report outlines building permits issued by private building surveyors, and copies are sent to the permits are provided to Council for their information. Attachment 1 provides an overview by townships with the number of permits issued within each town. Major projects that have occurred, the Fulham prison additions that have been continuing. Mafra has a vegetable processing plant and factory extension that has occurred. Woodside Football Club has had, or the Rec Reserve has had new change rooms. And there's also new land estate sales at areas of Mafra Sale and Stratford that are continuing to show high levels in residential development. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Marr. The next item on the agenda, we have item 13.2, the September 2020 planning decisions. Do I have someone who'd like to move that motion?
I'm happy to move that as well, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Marr. Would you like to formally move that yet?
I move that Council note the report on recent planning permit trends and planning application determinations between the 1st of September and the 30th of September 2020.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder for that motion?
Happy to second that, Mayor. Councillor Bye.
Yeah, thank you very much, Councillor Bye. Is there any opposition to that recommendation? No, I'll declare it carried. Councillor Marr.
Thank you, Mayor. These are at attachment 1, you will see a record of planning permit decisions that have been made during the month of September. And furthermore, at attachment 13.2.2, we'll see that our planners are still maintaining their good record with decisions issued within 60 days. They're certainly kicking goals in comparison to other rural and regional areas, and so well done them.
Yep, thank you. Yes, I agree completely. Thank you, Councillor Marr. The next item on the agenda is item 13.3, the Golden Beach Gas Project Inquiry Council submission. Do I have a mover for that recommendation?
I'm happy to move that one too, Mayor, if I may.
Thank you very much, Councillor Marr. Would you like to formally move that?
Yes, I move that Council endorse the attached submission to the Golden Beach Gas Project Inquiry.
Thank you. And do I have a seconder?
I'll second, Councillor Wood.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Wood. Is there any opposition to the adoption of that recommendation? If not, I'll declare it carried. Councillor Marr.
Thank you, Mayor. This submission relates to the Environmental Effect Statement, also known as the EES, which is currently on public exhibition until the 7th of December of 2020. The EES is an interesting read, and I certainly encourage everyone to do that if they haven't had an opportunity as yet. There's a range of environmental impacts that have been raised within the submission. One of these is road impacts and reinstatement. Another is mitigating social and environmental impacts. This includes the acid sulfate soil mitigation, construction noise, vibration, impacts on recreational and commercial fishing, removal of 41 hectares of native vegetation and the impacts and offsets of same, optimising community and economic outcomes, and consultation with the Department of Defence. It's important to know that there are residential properties within close proximity to the development sites that will see construction of the compressor station, a metering facility and shore crossing facility. Overall, this project will allow for extraction of natural gas from approximately 3 kilometres offshore, and it's worth noting that Origin Energy Retail Limited has entered into an agreement to purchase gas from the Golden Beach gas field to date. Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, thank you very much, Councillor Marr. Moving on, the next report is from the General Manager, Built and Natural Environment. Item 14.1, application for an unused road licence extension of Kalamont Road, Tinamba. Do I have someone that would like to move that recommendation?
Yeah, Councillor Hull will move it.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hull. Do you want to formally move that motion?
Yes, I'll move it formally.
Okay, and do I have a seconder for that motion?
Happy to second the motion as read in the report.
Thank you. Is there any opposition to that recommendation? If not, I'll declare it carried. Councillor Hull.
Yeah, thanks, Mr Mayor. I'm going to move that Council, pursuant to Section 400 of the Land Act of 58, gives notice that part of the government road east of Lot 1 on LP 143 899 parish of Tinamba is not required for public traffic and is therefore an unused road.
Righto.
I'm happy to second that, Councillor Mayor.
Yes, which I already declared carried. That's all right. I'll declare it carried. I'll declare it carried again on the basis there's no opposition.
Mayor, there's no better indication of democracy than doing it twice, and it sometimes does happen on Skype meetings. So all is good. We've moved it, so no problems at all with that one.
They've done it really well. Is there any comments you'd like to make in relation to that motion, Councillor Hull?
Look, thank you, Mayor. This is just to tidy up a piece of land that's an unused road that sits within the existing boundary of a grazing property. It goes nowhere and comes from nowhere. It may have been put there back in the old days when there was a boundary realignment or an amalgamation of properties. But we have to, as a council, declare it an unused road for the purpose of the Department of Environmental, Land, Water and Planning, or DELP as we know them, and for them to act in their way. But yeah, this is just tidying up a little anomaly. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hull. The next item we have is item 14.2, is an application for an unused road licence extension of Smiths Lane, Bundalaguah, which I can never get my tongue around.
I'm happy to move that. So I move that Council, pursuant to Section 400 of the Land Act 1958, gives notice that the government road through the northeast of Lot 1, TP 112393, parish of Bundalaguah, is not required for public traffic and is therefore an unused road.
Thank you, Councillor Crosley. Do I have a seconder?
I'm happy to second that, Councillor Tatterson.
Thank you, Councillor Tatterson. Is there any opposition to that proposed motion? If not, I'll declare it carried. Councillor Crosley.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a bit similar to the previous motion. The council has to declare that it's an unused road. This road ends in it goes nowhere. It goes to the river, and there's not an accessible bridge across it. It's contained in a single property, and they wish to obtain a licence, which is managed by DELP. DELP has advertised as it needs to, and it was advertised on the 2nd of October this year. There were no submissions received, so this can go through, and DELP can manage that licence for that farmer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Crosley. The next item is 14.3, is the Coongulla Eastern Area Special Charge Scheme, intention to declare. Do I have someone that would move that motion, please?
Councillor Hull will move the motion, Mayor.
Righto. So are you going to read it all out, Councillor Hull?
Because of the nature of it, yes, I will be. But is there a seconder before I... All right, yeah, well, I move the recommendation. I'm going to move. The council commenced the statutory process under the Local Government Act of 1989, the Act, to declare a special charge scheme, proposed scheme, for the purposes of constructing certain streets in the eastern area of the Coongulla Township, as those streets listed and shown on the plan, which is attached to and which forms a part of the proposed declaration of the special charge scheme number 2007, and the provision of all and any ancillary works, including the provision of driveway crossings and culverts from road edge to the building line. And 2, Council, in accordance with the sections 163(1)A and 163(B), part 3 of the Act, directed a public notice be given in the Gippsland Times newspaper and on Council's website of the intention of Council to declare the scheme at its ordinary meeting to be held on the 20th of April 2021, in accordance with the proposed declaration of special charge scheme number 2007. And 3, Council directed, in accordance with section 163(1)C of the Act, separate letters enclosing a copy of the public notice be sent to the owners of the properties referred to and set out in the schedule of properties forming a part of the proposed declaration of special charge, advising of the intention of Council to declare the special charge at its ordinary meeting to be held on the 20th of April 21, the basis of the calculation and distribution of the special charge, and notifying such persons the submissions and or objections in writing in relation to the proposed declaration of special charge will be considered and taken into account by Council in accordance with sections 163A, 163B and 223 of the Act. And 3, Council appoint Councillors Crosley, Patterson and Hole, and reserve Councillor By, as determined here, to form the Coongulla Eastern Area Special Charge Scheme Submissions Committee that is established by Council under section 2231B1 of the Act, to consider written submissions or objections and to hear any persons who in their written submissions under section 223 of the Act have requested that they are to be heard of their submissions, and the Chief Executive Officer or the person for the time being acting in that position be authorised to give public notice of the proposed declaration of the special charge in accordance with sections 163B and 223 of the Local Government Act of 1989. And 6, the Chief Executive Officer, the General Manager of Building and Natural Environment, or the Manager of Assets and Projects, or any person for the time being acting in those positions, be authorised to carry out any and all other administrative procedures necessary to enable Council to carry out its functions under section 163A and sections 163(1)A, 1B and 1C, and sections 163B and 223 of the Act.
Well done, Councillor Hull.
I'm happy to second that, Mayor. Councillor Crossley.
Thank you, Councillor Crossley. That's seconded. Is there any opposition to that proposed motion? No? I'm happy to declare it carried. Councillor Hull, have you taken breath? You can.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Look, this is a great motion for Coongulla. For those who are not familiar with Coongulla, or Coongulla Cove as it's known in most quarters, is on the northeastern banks of the Glenmaggie Weir. It forms one of three villages around it, with Glenmaggie and also Glenmaggie Point being 2 others. For some time, and when I say some time, many years, the people of Coongulla who are permanents, as compared to those who are tourists, because it is probably a 50-50 split between the permanents and the tourists, were different ideas of having the road sealed and curbing channeling put in and all the other ancillary bits and pieces to break down the dust, because they're all gravel roads out there except for Ryan's Road. And to the credit of our officers, they conducted a public meeting, which was a very well attended public meeting, and the consensus at that meeting was overwhelmingly in favour of pursuing the next stage of doing costings, and which was followed up in writing and requesting a response from the people involved. Part of the group, and I believe it was, what was it, on the western side, decided they didn't want to be a party to the improvements, but the rest of the Coongulla people voted in favour, not overwhelmingly in favour, but enough in favour to enable this to proceed. It'll do wonders for Coongulla, it'll do wonders for the people, and I'm sure that once it's done, those who decided not to do it will regret it. So let's go on with the job.
Yes, thank you very much, Councillor Hull. The next item on the agenda is item 14.4, is the Gormandale-Stradbroke Road Safety Upgrade Works. Do I have a councillor that would like to move that motion, please?
I'm happy to move that, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mudd. Are you going to move the motion or move the recommendation?
Yep, I move that Council adopt the recommendations contained in the attached confidential tender evaluation report of the council meeting agenda for contract 2021-014 Gormandale-Stradbroke Road Safety Upgrades Work, and 2, that paragraph is read. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mudd. Do I have a seconder?
Happy to second that, Mayor. Councillor Bye.
Yes, thank you very much, Councillor Bye. Is there any opposition to that proposed motion? If not, I'll declare it carried. Councillor Marr, would you like to speak?
Yes, thanks, Mayor. This road has been identified under the federal Black Spot program as being a high crash location. There are safety upgrades included warning signage, line marking, guideposts and guardrails, and I'm sure that there are many that will be very appreciative of this work being done. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Councillor Marr. The next item on the agenda is item 14.5. Oh no, sorry, before we go to that, I failed to announce that the successful tenderer for that project is Bairnsdale Road Services Proprietary Limited. So congratulations to the successful tenderer. The next item is 14.5, is the Ingles Bridge replacement in Ingles Road, Devon North. Do I have someone to move the recommendation?
I'm happy to move that, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Marr. Go ahead.
I move that Council adopt the recommendations contained in the attached confidential tender evaluation report of the council meeting agenda for contract 2021-005 Ingles Bridge replacement, Ingles Road, Devon North, and paragraph 2 as read.
Yes, thank you, Councillor Marr. Do I have a councillor to second that?
Happy to second that, Mayor. Councillor Bye.
Thank you very much, Councillor Bye. Is there any opposition to that proposed motion? If not, I'll declare it carried. Councillor Marr.
Thank you, Mayor. I learnt today that 9% of Shire assets are bridges, which was an interesting thing. So this is an old timber bridge that requires replacement with concrete structure that will have an estimated lifespan of 100 years. Wellington Shire has been running a program replacing the old timber bridges, improving the road network and the reliability of that network over time. So this is hopefully one of the last bridges. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Councillor Marr. The next item on the agenda is the report of the General Manager, Community and Culture, and item 15.1 is the Gippsland Art Gallery Foundation.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm happy to move.
Yeah, Councillor Rossetti.
Happy to move motion. It's slightly different to what people may have downloaded in their agenda. It just has an extra point too, just in case someone has got an earlier agenda. Okay. But I move that Council 1 approve the transfer of a $200,000 donation received by Wellington Shire Council's Gippsland Art Gallery from the John Leslie Foundation as a gift to the Gippsland Art Gallery Foundation. And 2, authorise the CEO to transfer any donation amounts from any ancillary fund made to Wellington Shire Council's Gippsland Art Gallery directly to the Gippsland Art Gallery Foundation as a gift.
Thank you, Councillor Rossetti.
I'm happy to second that, Mayor. Councillor Crossley.
Thank you, Councillor Crossley. Is there any opposition to that proposed motion? If not, I'll declare it carried. Councillor Rossetti.
Thank you, Mayor. And this is, the art gallery you spoke about earlier on about how exciting it is to have the Archibald Prize being displayed in our gallery. It's quite an honour for us to do that. But it does show that trust that people have in our art gallery here, and it goes back so long. And it's been so well supported through so many different locations and so many different community groups. What's happening here? We've had a crack to set up a foundation for the gallery back in 1995 and 2013, but they didn't have enough funds to get it started properly. And John Leslie, who incidentally died now 4 years ago, mid this month, and would have been turning 101 in February. He, in his will, has left many great bequests for many things in our community, including the art gallery itself. But he's actually left the $200,000 donation, which we've just authorised to go across to the new foundation. To start that, he's put $20,000 aside in there as well, or his executors have to do the legals, and he's got another $300,000 coming to go into that foundation as well. This foundation will continue to support, from a community perspective, the gallery. So when we talk about the great honour we've got to host these sorts of events coming up, it's not just because they think we've got a nice new building. In fact, it is because we've had many in our community supporting this great gallery, and not the least of which being John Leslie. So when the Archibald's there, it's great credit to people like John Leslie who've supported that art gallery. It's looking forward to the Archibald coming. I wonder if they have a portrait being made already of our mayor, because I'm sure that that would make a great Archibald Prize winner in their mayor. But it's very exciting to see this money going through, and looking forward to having this new trust up and running, so that people and trusts from all sorts of areas can actually contribute to the art gallery into the future. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Councillor Rossetti. I think you have to be... Yes.
Sorry. Can you indulge me as the seconder of that for a quick moment?
Absolutely. Please go ahead, Councillor Crossley.
Thank you. And probably I should have brought it up in the acknowledgements that just we have lost a great advocate for the arts last week from Gwen Webb, OAM, at the age of 98, and a great partner in crime, if I say so, with John Leslie in creating the establishment of the Gippsland Gallery. She was the director for about 15 years and was there from the early 1970s. It was actually, she gave me my first lessons in how to install an art show that led me into my career as a gallery director. She's had a huge impact on the arts and was the major driver, and it's really from the partnership, I think, with Gwen Webb and John Leslie over many, many years. And she's been an active member. She'd been to, just like John, they must have made something pretty special nearly 100 years ago for these two activists in the arts, and were great members and followers and active participants right up to their later years. So I just thought we should acknowledge the passing of Gwen Webb as such a great advocate and really the mainstay of the Gippsland arts for many years.
Okay, well, thank you. That's very appropriate, Councillor Crossley. And I just realised, councillors, that of course I failed to announce who the successful contractor was for the Ingles Bridge replacement, and that is in fact Jarvis Norwood Constructions Proprietary Limited, so better late than never. Now, thank you. Moving on, the next item on the agenda is the further gallery and online comments. Do we have any further gallery online comments, Mr. CEO?
No, nothing's come in, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Mr. CEO. Now, we do have to move into...
I'm happy to take in the closed session, Mayor.
Thank you very much.
I move that the meeting be closed to the public pursuant to Section 66(2) of the Local Government Act 2020 to consider matters under Section 66(5)(b) as defined by Section 3(1), being F, personal information, being information which, if released, would result in the unreasonable disclosure of information about any person or their personal affairs.
Thank you very much.
I'm happy to second that, Councillor Crossley, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Crossley. Is there any opposition to that motion? I'll declare it carried. I don't think we need to speak to it. We just need to move into closed session temporarily.